may go without saying, but I think it's important to repeat that what we saw on Saturday was a heinous act of violence. And as an American sitting here in Denver, I've been very proud to see the act called heinous and unacceptable from leaders, across the spectrum. President Biden, former President Donald Trump, among the first and the most important to say that. In terms of electoral ramifications, we don't want to move on too quickly, of course. But I think what we will see in the short term is a boost in support for President Donald Trump. History tells us, you mentioned the assassination attempt against then President Ronald Reagan. His polling numbers boosted about 8 points in the immediate aftermath following that attempt in 1972. The polls then fell back to about status quo 2 months later. So, short term, I think we see a boost for President Donald Trump. Of course, the pictures, Donald Trump raising his fist following the attempt on Saturday are incredibly moving. But in the long term, I'm not sure that what happened on Saturday, as heinous as it was, is going to move that many voters right or left.
So if it's not going to move voters right or left or purple, dare I say, on the basis of these, again, as you quite rightly say, heinous events as well, where does that leave the Democrat Party, which, quite frankly, is just bickering amongst itself? And it's been notable the Republicans have just let them get on with it for quite a while now as well. I don't see how this can improve the situation within the Democrat Party, which is asking itself, do we have the wrong candidate?
Yeah, I think if there's a silver lining for anybody in this instance, it's for President Joe Biden, whose record and acuity over the past few weeks has been questioned. It's been the number one story. In fact, we discussed it about a week ago. Joe Biden now is going to experience something of a reprieve, and that is because the focus is no longer on his acuity and his candidacy moving forward. It was on the events of Saturday and sort of the aftermath from the events, especially during the Republican National Convention this week. So, I know that President Biden and his campaign would, of course, never frame what happened on Saturday as good news, but it is a reprieve for them in a way to sort of move beyond the question of the acuity. That may be, it may not be possible for President Joe Biden to move forward from these questions. He has a very important interview tomorrow. He's got a number of interviews scheduled over the course of the week. Now, a sitting president very often does that. Of course, President Biden has done it less than others have in the past. So he's sort of back to what we would understand as a full campaign schedule. And the question is, in that full campaign schedule over the next days and weeks to come, frankly, months to come, will President Joe Biden sort of be able to move past these questions of acuity, or will we see what we saw in late June, and that is a president who may not be up to the task of running and winning this campaign?